There's a kind of advice you've heard 1,000 times. Take control of your life. You're in charge. It's all up to you. And honestly, most of the time it's said in a way that's a little bit of a lie. Because then life does something you didn't approve. A frost comes early. A drought drags on. Something you planted and loved just doesn't come up this year. And suddenly, it's all up to you feels like a slap. Like the bad weather was somehow your fault. So I want to give you a version of that idea I actually believe. One that doesn't fall apart the second life gets hard. And I think by the end, you'll be able to walk out into your own life and test whether it's true. Here it is. You're not in control of your life. You're the gardener of it. Here's a line almost nobody draws clearly, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. There are two completely different things in your life, and we mix them up constantly. There's the garden, and there's the weather. The garden is everything you actually tend. What you choose to plant, how you show up to it, what you water, what you pull, what you protect, the effort, the patience, what you do after a bad season. The weather is everything else, the soil you were handed, the storms you didn't call and can't send away, other people, luck, timing, the frost that comes whether you're ready or not. And here's the mistake that quietly runs a huge amount of human misery. We try to garden the weather. We pour ourselves into controlling what was never ours. Other people's opinions, outcomes already decided, the climates of the world, and then we feel powerless, because we are powerless over those things. Everyone is. You cannot yell a cloud away. You refresh the email that already got sent. You replay an argument at 2 a.m., rewriting what you should have said to a conversation that's already over. You check one more time whether they've texted back or not. None of it moves the weather an inch, but it can cost you the whole night. And at the very same time, we neglect the one thing that is actually ours, the plot right in front of us. We say, "This is just how I am. I had no choice. What was the point?" And we let the actual garden, the part we could tend, go to weeds. So we fight the sky and ignore the soil. That's the whole trap. And almost everyone's in it, including me. Let me be honest about that for a second. I've spent good stretches of my life trying to garden the weather. I've lost sleep over what people thought of me, which is weather happening in the sky, not anything I could ever tend. I've gone back over seasons that already failed, trying to regrow a harvest that was already gone. And the whole time I was busy arguing with the sky, my actual garden, the thing I could have been tending, just sat there, untended, going to weeds. I'm not telling you this as someone who's got it all figured out. I'm telling you because I'm a few seasons further along the same path. And I've made the same mistakes you're probably making. I still catch myself doing it. The difference now is that I actually catch it. That's the weather. Let it go. And I kneel back down to the soil that's actually mine. That's not a one-time fix. That's the work. Probably for life. Now here's the part the take control of your life version always skips. And it's the part that keeps this from turning into arrogance. You are the gardener of your life, and so is everyone else. Every person you've ever met is kneeling in their own plot, in their own weather, dealing with droughts and frosts you cannot see from where you're standing. The person who snapped at you, the friend who went quiet, the stranger who was cold, each one is a gardener in a hard season. In a life where they're the main character, and you're just someone passing by the fence. That does two things at once, and I love that it does both. It makes you bigger. This is your garden, your hands, your harvest. Nobody else to blame for the weeds. And it makes you smaller, in the best way possible. You're one gardener among billions, no more important than any of them, no less. Some people were handed richer soil, some have bigger plots, longer growing seasons, better tools. Some are simply better at it than you. For now, none of that makes them worth more than you, or you worth more than them. Different gardens, same sky, same quiet dignity in the kneeling. And you can test this one yourself. Next time someone treats you badly, instead of, "What's wrong with me?" or "What a terrible person," try, "That's a gardener in a season I can't see." Watch what it does to your anger. It won't excuse them. It will free you. Their weather was never your soil to fix. So what about the real losses? The frosts that are not secretly blessings. The things that are just genuinely bad. I want to be careful here, because there's a cheap version of this idea, and I don't believe it. The cheap version says everything happens for a reason, and every bad thing is secretly a gift. That's something people say when they haven't lived through the worst of it. Some frosts just kill what you grew. A job that ended, a person who left. A version of your life you were so sure was coming that just didn't. It's a loss, full stop. I won't insult you by calling it a gift. But here's what's still true, even then. Even when the weather takes something you never agreed to lose, you're still the gardener. What you do with the ground come spring is still yours. Not the frost, the next planting. And there's something honest in this, not cheap. What died doesn't vanish, it breaks down. It goes back into the soil and quietly, without anyone pretending it was a good thing, it feeds whatever you plant next. You don't have to call the frost a blessing. You just get to decide what grows out of the ground it left behind. That part was never up to the weather. That's what I mean when I say everything seems to carry two sides. Not that the bad is secretly good, but that even the worst season returns something to the soil. And the gardener is still standing there, holding the seeds. So here's what I'd leave you with. Not a slogan, something to actually try. Today, catch yourself doing the thing we all do. Gardening the weather. Worrying a thought you can't change. Managing an opinion in someone else's sky. Reliving a season that already ended. And when you catch it, name it, plainly. That's weather, not mine. And then, find the soil. The one small thing in front of you that you can actually tend, and tend it. You don't control the weather, you never did. The frosts will come, and the droughts, and some seasons will break your heart. That part isn't up to you. But the garden is yours. It always was. And everyone else's is theirs. So, gardener, what are you going to grow?